In this part of the world, marriage is regarded as being blissful when the couple have at least a child. But in reality, many couples in developing countries suffer from one form of infertility or the other. The inability of couples to conceive children is one major problem in Africa which can make or mar any relationship. In most cases, the women bear the brunt of infertility as members of the extended families, especially the man's kinsmen, continually blame the woman and easily tag her as barren. This perpetual and exclusive blaming of the woman further makes the problem unbearable. Fumi's case is an example of this. She married a heartthrob with all hope of starting a family soon. But fate had much more in stock for her.
The first 5 years of the marriage, no kids. 10 years, no kids. And you know, it was hell. So many pressure from the family. So many things went wrong that I can't even start saying now.
Did you just wait for 10 years? Did you try medical help? Did you seek all these? I'm sure then, 20 years ago, there was no advancement in assisted reproductive technologies. What steps did you take medically?
Well, my husband never wanted any assisted technology. So many pressure from his family, the church, society, you know, even my own people. We went through a lot that I can't even start saying now. You know, about 18 months to his last breath, Akimi. Akimi. He called me one morning and said, "The love of my life, there's something I would like to tell you." And you know, I was all ears because we were so good even without any child. And you know, he said he has the fault.
Wow.
He said he has all the blame. He said he knows everything about our infertility. I was shocked, almost close to coma. You know, at first I couldn't believe it, until he made me understand everything, that he is the one with the problem. My dear, it was hell.
A widow in her mid-40s, the reality of settling down, let alone starting a new family, stares her in the face.
It's late already, I'm in my 40s. You know, we got married at the early stage of my life. We shared so many things.
Okay, so now what is next? Is no more. What do you intend to do?
I'd rather stay. I'm giving it up for him. He's gone. Yeah, I'm here. But in spirit, I believe we're still together. Because Akimi is me. There's nothing I want to do. I'd rather stay.
Paul is luckier than Fumi. He battled secondary infertility, which is a delay in childbearing, for about 20 years. Paul had his first daughter, then he had to wait for more than 18 years before he had another issue. The waiting period was of course accompanied with psychological and emotional trauma with torments from family members.
No man will sit and not take help. We sought help, but you know, we had conflicting reports. It's the man, it's the woman, you know. We face a lot of things, pressure from the in-laws, my own people telling me to go and get another wife, you know, and all that. But when we did IVF and every assisted means of giving birth to a child, and everything failed. So as time went on, I just told my wife, let's stop stressing it.
Wow.
Let's just wait on God.
Wow.
And I think after I made that decision, with prayers, as we believe, it happened. The boy came and...
A gynecologist, Dr. Adewale Ibrahim, believes the responsibility of conceiving babies should not just be a woman's sole business.
Because you find out that in a reasonable number of scenarios or situations, the problem is actually with the man, and the woman is otherwise normal. But unfortunately, the man or the men do not present to the clinic. So that creates, a big challenge. And then as much as possible, we usually advise or prefer, to see clients as a couple, that is husband and wife. That is usually our first choice or option, as it were. But unfortunately, in some parts, you have the situation where you're the woman, you're the problem, you go and sort yourself out. And then even after the woman has done all her tests and everything seems normal and fine, it's still always difficult, bringing the men in, you understand, for assessment. And basically, the truth is, all the man needs to do is just a sperm analysis. Unlike for the woman that needs to do so many different tests, blood tests, radiological investigations, assessments, and all that. So it's really so difficult, and that's why out there now there are a lot of advocacies. We have a lot of NGOs, a lot of groups, trying, working hard, to encourage our men, to as much as possible come with the women to the clinic where there are fertility-related challenges.
He added that despite the advancements in assisted reproductive technologies, otherwise known as ART, timely medical intervention and seeking appropriate help is key in treatment.
The difference between an IUI and IVF is that usually in an IUI, you don't want the woman to produce more than 2 or 3 eggs, at the most, preferably 2, but worst case scenario, 3. But in an IVF, you are aiming for an average of about 12 to 15. You can see the difference. You're aiming for about 12 to 15. But in an IUI, you are hoping for 2. Worst case scenario, 3. And then at an appropriate time, when you think she's about to ovulate, you now prepare the sperms of the husband and then you inject it. It's like a kind of indirect sexual relations, if I may put it that way. But the aim is that it usually helps to deposit the sperm as close as possible, to where fertilization is going to happen. So where the sperms are not properly prepared, because the essence of doing an IUI is to prepare the sperm so that as much impurity, in quotes, if I put it that way, are sieved out or removed from the sperm. So if that is not properly done and then insemination is done, it could really give the woman very severe, crampy, lower abdominal pains, you understand, which could necessitate hospital admission. And on top of that, you could also have infection, as it were, if all these processes are not properly done. Their only realistic chance of being able to achieve conception is through IVF. You understand, for some people. So even when it fails, the only option they have is to gather themselves together and have a go at it again. Because the fact that it didn't work the first time doesn't mean that it's not going to work the second time. So that is the thing about IVF. So what determines, more importantly, when a woman attempts starting again, takes me back to the psychological state of mind. You understand? As soon as the woman feels she's psychologically, stable and ready, you understand, to, commence another cycle. It's no, not that there's a specific period, because you can't assign a specific period without taking into cognizance the psychological state, you understand, of the woman. But now, assuming that after a cycle, you understand, the woman is deemed to be psychologically stable and she's ready to go again, she could actually start as soon as after her next normal menstrual period, after that failed cycle. But for a number of women, it usually takes a while, to gather themselves, together, you understand, to have a go at it again. And particularly when we also look at the investment in terms of the financial capacity, or the financial investment, that is involved in the whole process of IVF, because IVF doesn't come cheap, in all honesty.
Despite advancement in assisted reproductive technologies, some couples still do not conceive. Adoption is an option.
I believe marriage is a very primary thing. At a point in time in your life, you have to be married, you have to have your own bone, your partner who definitely supports you in pursuing your goal. That is my own belief. Childbearing is not basically the reason, but it's a very important, reason why one should have a wife.
They should check. You should know the kind of man you're getting married to. Yes, love is beautiful, love is good, love is sweet, but there's so many things that goes with it that you need to know before saying I do. If I had gone through all that, my life wouldn't have been like this today. My advice for them is to check and check again, so you know the exact place you're going to.
There is a lot of hope out there, and that is also the beauty of the IVF that we have. Because with IVF now, the truth is that it's possible to get anybody pregnant. And I'm sure you have seen also in the pages of newspaper, where you have a 50-something-year-old woman giving birth. Even in some cases, 65, 67-year-old woman, giving birth. This can only be possible, with an IVF. Though I must also state that, different clinics also try to adopt. For some clinics, once the woman is above a particular age limit, they don't offer treatment. Because it's not just about the child. You also have to consider, the care of that child. But we have reported these days where you have 67, 68 and above year old women, giving birth. This can only be possible because of IVF. So it's possible to get anybody pregnant as long as one is alive, irrespective of the diagnosis or whatever. You understand, there is hope. The most important thing is for individuals that are affected by this problem to seek appropriate help. First, they have to believe. You understand? Then they have to seek appropriate medical counseling, seek or go to well-recognized clinics. You understand, as it were, and avail themselves of whatever treatment options that their doctors, prescribe or recommend for them. But there is a lot of hope, out there, and even with the IVF, there are a lot of other interventions, that are in place. So the critical thing is that for our women out there who are having fertility-related challenges, please do not despair, do not lose hope. There is a lot of hope. The most important thing is for you to arm yourself with the right information, because that is a very critical tool that you need. Knowledge, they say, is power. And once you've armed yourself with the appropriate knowledge and information, go out there and do the needful.
With the success rate of ART in Africa, there appears to be a silver lining for couples silently battling with their inability to conceive, if only medical help was sought early.